Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to today's video, which is part of my 12 days of Bookmas. I hope you are enjoying this series. So today I have my November reading wrap up and it should be pretty freaking quick because I'm in the middle of a reading slump, guys and girls. I am not reading very much at all. I'm going to blame Disney Dreamlight Valley because that's what I've been playing a lot of, especially since the DLC came out and the new update for the Christmas, well, winter Star Path came out at the beginning of December, but that obviously didn't affect me in November. But also as well, I got watching Christmas movies. All right, I got watching Christmas movies in November. I'm not mad about it. I love Christmas and I love Christmas movies. So yeah, I did that instead of reading. So I actually only finished 4 books. So let's get straight to it. So the first book I finished is the second book in a series. This is Hot Blooded from the Wolf Springs Chronicles by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigui. I don't know. The first book, put my teeth in. The first book was Unleashed, and this is basically Twilight but with werewolves. I really like this series. We definitely have a lot of teenage angst in this, which I will say is not my favourite. But yeah, I quite liked it. We have Caitlin, whose parents have both died. She's now orphaned, and so she is living with her granddad in this Wolf Springs. Wolf Springs, and there's strangeness afoot in the first book. And obviously it continues again in the second one. I really do like this. There is a third book in the trilogy, so I will hopefully get that read probably in January now, if I can get it onto my TBR, because I would like to get this trilogy finished sooner rather than later, because I would like to see how it finishes. I will say that I did really enjoy this and where the story is going. Unlike Twilight, we have changes afoot pretty quickly in this trilogy so far. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. I did just give it 3 stars though. It's nothing to really write home about. The next book is again a second book in a series. This is Torment by Lauren Kate, the sequel to Fallen. Here we have Fallen Angels, and I've got to say that I was not so impressed with this one. We have a change of location in this book, but it's still in a school, and the teenage angst in this one is so... Yeah, you just sit in that box, that's fine, you settle down. Settle down, go to sleep. The teenage angst in this one is just so... One of the worst things I hate is when a couple are together, say, or they're meant to be together, but there's something that's keeping them apart, and they're constantly going, does he love me? Does he not love me? I don't know if he loves me or not. But then when they get together, the passion is like through the roof, and they're all over each other and they can't stop touching and kissing each other. And then as soon as he walks away again from her, she's like, I don't know if he really loves me or not. And it's just really irritating. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a 40-odd-year-old woman. I'm just like, oh, God, get over yourself, girl. Like, either accept the situation for what it is or move on, find somebody new. But, you know, she feels like it's her destiny and stuff, and there's a lot of like past lives in here that she's like, well, I used to love him in a past life, so I must love him in this one. And yeah, I must admit that if I wasn't a completionist wanting to finish the series, this might have convinced me to DNF. I will say that. I did give it a 3 stars, but I think, to be honest, it's more like a 2. I wasn't really into this book. It took me far longer than it should have done to finish it, that is for sure. The next book I definitely did give 2 stars. In fact, the only saving grace was its artwork. This is Snow Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman and Colleen Duran. This was a gift from my good friend Charlotte. She did give it to me. Oh, that's where that... I can find a bookmark. This is a gift from my good friend Charlotte. Thank you very much, Charlotte. But unfortunately, I am going to be unhauling this one. The artwork and the story, fantastic. 4 stars. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say the artwork and the plot was 5 stars material. What pulled it down to a 2 stars was this fascination that Neil Gaiman seems to have with going in just a dirty, smutty way that I don't like. I'm sorry. I read a good smut. I love good smut. I've read Haunting Adeline and loved it. But there is just, I don't know, there's just some things in here that I was just like, did you really need to? Like, did you have to? Yeah, no, I just... And this happened in a Neil Gaiman short story I read recently, where again it had some like unnecessary dirty smut. And I wouldn't even call it smut, I would call it pornographic. And I'm not into porn, I'm just not. Smut, yes, as long as it leads to love and I can't be without you kind of thing. But porn, no, I'm not into porn. And there was just too many naked bodies in this. The artwork, fantastic. The plot line, the idea that actually Snow White was the villain and the Queen was trying to stop Snow White was amazing. I loved that. But the pornographic images in here, I'm not into that. Not into that at all. So I gave it 2 stars. Didn't like it. So I will be passing it on. So if anybody's interested and doesn't mind the pornographic pictures in there, then you can have it. Thank you. And last but not least, I have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I got this read and I devoured this book. I love this book. I'm so glad. However, my copy has a missing page. I had to message a couple of my friends because my copy, see if I can find it. Yeah, it has two page 204. So 204 appears twice and 208 is missing. So I had to message my friends and say, hey, anybody of you have this book in hardback? Can tell me what happens on page 208, please, because I don't have it. Which is it's an absolute shame because it means that I'm going to have to get another copy and hope that it doesn't have the same issue. But this came out over a year ago. It's now out in paperback. So it was suggested that I could just contact the publishers and they may replace it for me free of charge. I don't know, but yeah, I am missing page 208 in my copy, unfortunately, and I have page 204 twice. I was very confused for a moment, but I absolutely loved the story of this. We have this girl who was orphaned as a young baby. Her whole family died at a party, but she was the only one to survive. And since then, people keep dying around her, but she always manages to survive. And she has developed this kind of relationship with Death himself. And she eventually comes to Hawthorne Manor, where she has relatives. And unfortunately, prior to her getting there, the mother of the family died from a mysterious illness, and now her daughter is suffering from the same illness. And our main character, who is called Signa, is wanting to try and stop the daughter from dying as well. And it's just this whole story of what is happening with this family, why everybody keeps dying. And she is our main character, Signet, is the heiress to a massive fortune. So her family in the past have all just been grabbing hold of her to try and get her fortune, but they've been dying mysteriously throughout her life. So she keeps moving on to the next relative, the next relative, and the next relative. There's something that happens in here where my jaw literally dropped open, and I had to sit for a couple of minutes and just take it in, because I did not see that coming. And I was like, oh my God. Like, normally I see these things. I see them. I see these things. I did not see this coming. So that was amazing to me. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Okay, so let's go on to the statistics. We'll be very quick here. So the total books I read was 4. I read them all physically. And so the physical pages I read was 1,301. My star ratings, I had 1 5-star, 2 3-star, and 1 2-star. The genres I read, 3 were fantasy and 1 was a manga graphic novel. I owned all 4 books. I read all 4 books physically. 2 were in hardback, 2 were in paperback. The gender of the authors, 3 were female, 1 was male. The longest book I read was actually Torment. The shortest book I read was obviously Snowglass Apples. The oldest book I read was Torment again, which was first published in September 2010. And the newest book I read was Belladonna, which was published in August of 2022. Back to Torment again, because this was the lowest rated on Goodreads. So I was quite surprised at that. I mean, it's a sequel to Fallen, and I thought this was quite a popular series. But anyway, so this, at time of taking the Goodreads rating, was rated 3.85. And shockingly, so I am of the wrong opinion, clearly, Snowglass Apples was the highest rated, and I don't have it written down as to how much it was. 4.09 at time of taking. People rated this 4 stars. Mostly. I am shocked. I mean, the artwork and the storyline is great. It's just a personal preference for the disliking the porno. So I'm going to hold it back up again, because this was, of course, my least favourite book of the month. I mean, it didn't really have that much competing against it. And like I say, I do like the artwork. And despite the pornographic issues, the artwork is beautiful. And the storyline is amazing. Like, I'll show you some of the artwork. The artwork is just gorgeous. Like, look at that title page. I mean, that's stunning. Stunning artwork. It's beautiful. So why the naked bodies? Why? I don't know. No. And later on, you see bodily hair. And I don't appreciate that either. I am a bit of a prude when it comes to pictures. I don't want to see pictures. I just want words. So that was my least favourite. And of course, Belladonna, my only 5-star of the month, was my most favourite. I will be purchasing Foxglove to continue this series. I don't know if it's just going to be a duology or more books in the series, but I cannot wait to move on with this story and see what happens next. So that is it. That is my November reading wrap up. Are there any books that you've read recently that you thoroughly enjoyed? What is your pet peeve in books? Let me know. For me, it's pornography. I love a good smut novel, But pornography, sex for the sake of sex. It doesn't make the story any better. It's just there for gratification. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I'd like to move on, thank you very much, and read better books where the smut actually develops into true love. I would burn the world for you kind of thing. Anyway, that's just me. But what's your pet peeve? Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!